how do you mesh so quickly? I mean, when you guys never played together prior to in '84 at the Canada Cup, you guys didn't. There was a short training camp, but not much. And how do you set your rivalries aside?
Well, a couple things there. One is that it's really important when you pick these all-star these all-star selections that you actually pick the best team. It's easy to get seduced into picking the best players, but don't necessarily translate into the best team. And in such a quick turnaround, you would hope that there would be a lot of synergy between the players that they pick. Have to say, I was a little like, I'm never going to second guess the selection because you can't win unless you do win. But Hyman off with McDavid is just an example of where you get instant synergy with players. How are they going to find that in this quick tournament with McDavid? So I think little subtle things like that can make a difference. And it's to your point, the Swedes and the Finns, they play a lot together
Right.
through the years growing up, international juniors, world championships, goes on and on and on. But um, I think the players are adaptive enough. I think they're smart enough. I think they're skilled enough, and I think the hockey IQs are all there. That's all there, but you can't replace those reps, those instinctive reps. I mean, I played with Glenn Anderson on my right side for how many years? Wayne played with the Yeri for how many years? Yeah, we interchanged wingers on the left side, but that uncommon or that feeling of that instinctual feeling of knowing exactly what he's going to do, where he's going to be, what he's going to do when he gets a puck. You can't replace that without time. Um, and the rivalry thing, John, to your question, that's easy. Everybody's a competitor when you're out in the ice playing against each other. The more fascinating thing are the guys that play together that now have to actually go up against each other and take no prisoners. So all those things combined is what makes it so compelling. There's just so many storylines that are going to go into this, and the winner the winning team that comes out of this is going to definitely have to earn it.
Interesting you bring up the meshing on the ice and trying to read off some chemistry and little quirks or abilities that a player has, and if you're playing with them new. I don't know what Coop's plan is for the first couple of practices or any of the coaches' plans, but would you do any scrimmaging, like just light scrimmaging, just to get people used to or test some of that?
Yeah, I think this is all going to be on the fly, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
think, to answer your question, yes, I think they'll have some light scrimmage and just to get some familiarities. I think the most important thing is actually how they're going to the systems that they're going to implement in the neutral zone, on the forecheck, in the defensive zone. That's going to have to be, pretty cut and dry. It's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that's playing the best as a team
Mhm.
wins championships. Um, all that's going to have to be. I'm sure they've been sending out information to these players from a long time ago about things that they're going to do or try to do as implement as far as systems play is concerned. But you can't win on instinct. You can't win just freewheeling it there. You have to play connected hockey, and that's going to be a challenge for all these teams.
One of the other aspects of this is that, a guy like Mark Stone, Mark Stone plays 20 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Brad Marchand plays 20 minutes a night. Travis Konechny plays 21 minutes a night. Connor might play
All top
23.
power play too.
Right. So uh, you can't put 12 forwards on the power play. You can't put 12 forwards on the ice all the time. These guys, and I say this respectfully, they all have egos. They all know what their roles are on their club teams, but some of them are going to play 12 minutes. And that's how much of a challenge is. I mean, when you're sitting on the bench saying, well, I can do that, I can get out there. Well, it's not your turn.
Yeah, well, that is the challenges of the coaching staff that's in front of them. It's a challenge for a player to. I don't think it's a challenge for the player to accept the role that he's going to be given in this environment. I think that's going to come easy. I think the challenge for the player is going to be to stay in the game when he's used to playing every other shift or staying,
Right.
like you say, 20 minutes. You go long times in between shifts. Your role on this team is going to be different. You might be a power play guy. Now they might ask you to be a checker. And that's why it all gets down to the selection of, you got to have players for every scenario out there that are used to playing that role. You can't take a guy that hasn't been a checker for 10 years and expect him to go out there and kill penalties and check. He can do that, but the reps just aren't there right now. So for me, the selection process is fascinating. How they're going to put it all together, I can only tell you that there's been exhaustive discussions amongst the general managers and the managers of the team and the coaching staff of how they're going to construct all these teams. And ultimately, in the end, someone's going to be proven right with the selections because they're going to ultimately be the winner. And like I said, you can't win unless you win. Everybody's going to be second guessed if you don't come out on top of this.
There are lots of players that didn't get selected to the club, and I guess Mark Scheifele's for Canada is at the top of that list because he's having an unbelievable season, and he sees his teammates go to the tournament for other countries. So in 1998, 97, actually November of 97, you don't get chosen for Canada. What would you tell Mark Scheifele about the learning curve about this and how you manage that? Because I'm sure that hurt you in 97, didn't it?
Well, it did. I was, towards the end of my career, I still felt I could have been a role player. Obviously, I wasn't going to be, one of the leaders on the team as far as being an on-ice leader anyways. But I still felt that I could have helped support in a support role. I grew up playing a support role. I knew that role very well. But those are the tough decisions that have to be made, and not everybody's going to be happy. I had to accept it. It was, is one of the things that I actually missed in my career was playing in the Olympics, and that was probably my only chance to do it. I didn't get picked, and that's the way it was. That's the way it is. You got to, country first. It was disappointing.
Were you that pragmatic in November of 97?
Actually, I was. I took it pretty well, to be honest with you. I understood that they have tough decisions to make. They picked the team that they felt was going to be the best team, like we had just talked about. And as a player, you got to accept it. I mean, there's, and Scheifele is one of the ones. I think Hyman is an interesting choice not to have him with McDavid because they play so well together. And Hyman is a high end player. He's hard on the forecheck. He's hard on pucks. He hunts pucks down from McDavid. I mean, that synergy you just can't replace in a short amount of time. But Scheifele, but there's how many other guys are just
Oh no, you're right.
incredible hockey players, and that's the beauty, I guess, of Team Canada. We got a spoil of riches, and the managers and coaches are tasked with picking 12 of the best. Think about it, 12 forwards in Canada. You get named on that team. That's pretty lofty goals and
Billy Guerin had the
expectations.
same problem. Let's face it, Billy Guerin had the same problem for the U.S. team. There's no question.
1,000%. There's so many great players in the U.S. now, and like I said, it's a thankless job, and the only way you win is to win.